Many people building a house often focus only on the style of the roof, whether it looks nice or is trendy, while very few actually pay attention to its shape. But in reality, the shape of the roof plays a crucial role. It creates a flow of energy that covers the entire living space below. Its influence happens slowly, through the form and the feeling it brings day after day. Since the roof is always positioned above, the energy from its shape tends to directly impact how safe, grounded, and steady people feel inside the home. From what I have learned, each roof shape generates a different kind of energy. Some designs create a sense of shelter, coziness, and peace of mind. But others can make the space underneath feel pressured, heavy, or like the energy is being scattered. These differences are not always easy to notice right away, but our bodies usually sense them very quickly. When you are standing inside a house with a roof that produces a harmonious energy flow, it becomes easier to relax. Your thoughts become clearer, and your daily life feels more balanced. On the other hand, if the roof shape causes a feeling of tension, sharpness, or instability, the rhythm of life inside the house often becomes rushed, and people tend to feel mentally unsettled even if they are not fully aware of why. Over time, the energy state created by the roof can begin to influence your luck in very real and practical ways. When your mind is stable, you are more likely to make clear-headed decisions, which means fewer mistakes in work and money matters. But when that mental state is constantly disturbed, people often start acting on impulse. Spending just to ease stress, making quick choices just to escape discomfort, or holding on to money while still feeling uneasy. Next, I will go through each common roof shape and explore how each one tends to influence the energy people feel inside the home. We will also take a look at why some houses seem to feel more stable the longer you live in them, while others quietly drain your luck and peace of mind over time. So stay tuned. First, pointed roofs with sharp angles and high peaks. Houses with pointed roofs, sharp angles, or tall peaks often leave a strong impression from the very first glance. Just by looking, you can sense the upward push. It feels tall, powerful, full of momentum. Many people choose this type of roof during periods in life when they want to move fast, break through, or leave a mark. And honestly, I totally get that. But to be honest, after living in such homes for a while, the most noticeable feeling actually shows up inside, not outside. I have noticed that many people living under pointed roofs tend to stay in a constant state of pushing themselves forward. Even when they are home, their bodies remain tense. They sit down, but their minds keep racing. It is hard to relax, hard to fully settle down. What surprises me is that this feeling forms on its own, even without anyone pointing it out. The sharp lines and upward angles create a clear driving rhythm. The body reacts by staying in a state of readiness. The nervous system gets used to moving fast, day after day. Over time, the brain becomes less tolerant of slowness, and anything that takes time starts to feel uncomfortable. This might sound like a small thing, but the impact on work and money is actually quite noticeable. People living under this kind of roof often develop a habit of wanting to act quickly. Decisions come early, sometimes even before they feel truly secure. Spending or investing might be done just to release pressure, just to get it over with, to feel less stressed. What surprises me most is that these behaviors rarely come from ignorance. Most of the time, they come from a lifestyle that is constantly being pushed forward. When someone spends every day in a space filled with that kind of force, their body adapts by reacting quickly rather than waiting patiently. One thing I have seen quite often in families living under pointed roofs is that they are really good at getting started. They move fast, they adapt well, they react with strength. But as time goes on, the fatigue starts to build up slowly, little by little. Once it becomes too much, their ability to maintain stability begins to weaken, especially when it comes to money decisions or relationships. Second, low or flat roofs, a sense of heaviness and stillness. Houses with low or flat roofs often give off a solid, enclosed feeling the moment you step inside. You look up and notice the ceiling feels lower. The space is tidy and contained. Everything seems to follow a familiar pattern. Many people are drawn to this kind of roof after going through long periods of stress. When exhaustion lasts too long, the need becomes simple. A place to pause, breathe, and slow down. Honestly, the sense of relief comes quickly. Low roofs naturally slow the pace of daily life. The body feels less alert, the mind quiets down. There is no pressure to stretch yourself every day. For people recovering from long-term pressure, this space often brings deep comfort. What surprises me is that after enough time, your rhythm of living starts to shift again. Most people do not notice it right away. A slight heaviness begins to settle in. Not overwhelming, not obvious, just enough to reduce the drive to move. The mind is calm, but the spark fades. Life flows on, just without forward momentum. I have talked to many people living under low roofs. They tell me they have plans, new careers, better finances, fresh goals. The desire is there. But when it is time to act, their bodies slow down. And the phrase I hear most often is, "It can wait." That slow rhythm quietly stretches over years. Financially, the effect often shows up as long-term steadiness. Money comes in regularly, spending stays in check. Big changes are rare. Growth happens, but slowly. Opportunities appear in familiar forms and pass quietly. People in these homes tend to maintain what they have, but reaching the next level takes time. One thing I have often seen is that life under low roofs runs on routine, set schedules, familiar items. The space rarely shifts. This style of living is great for mental recovery, but when stability lasts too long, it naturally turns into stillness. As people get used to a safe, steady pace, their response to outside change slows too. Even when good chances come, they pass by without urgency. The house still feels calm and neat, but quietly holds people in place. Third, slanted or asymmetrical roofs. Houses with slanted or asymmetrical roofs are very common these days, especially in remodeled homes or those expanded over time. From the outside, this kind of roof does not usually feel uncomfortable. Some people even find it interesting with its own unique look. But the feeling it creates only starts to reveal itself after you have lived in it for a while. The first thing I notice about homes with slanted roofs is a subtle sense of imbalance. This comes straight from the body. Inside the house, there is usually one side that feels heavier. One direction where people tend to stand without realizing it. Another side where no one likes to sit for long. These reactions happen naturally. People adjust without thinking. Honestly, many people living under slanted roofs tend to overthink. Their worries are not big or loud, just this quiet, constant kind of tension. A thin string always pulled tight in the mind. When they need to make a decision, they hesitate for a long time. They go back and forth, and often they return to where they started. The more they think, the more drained they feel. Financially, the impact often shows up as scattered spending. Money goes in many small directions. Spending happens regularly, but rarely brings full satisfaction. After each decision, a familiar question pops up in their minds. Was that the right choice? And when that question repeats often enough, it wears down the mind first, then the money follows. In family life, this kind of roof often creates a slight misalignment. Everyone has their own corner, their own way of thinking. Conversations still happen, people still discuss things, but agreement usually takes time. Even small things need long talks. And even after talking, people still do not feel completely reassured. Slanted roofs often appear during times when life is moving faster than people can organize their space. In the beginning, the effects are not clear, but over many years, that imbalance slowly seeps into daily rhythms, into how people think, and into how they manage their money. Fourth, curved or domed roofs with soft lines. Homes with curved or domed roofs often give off a soft feeling right from the first glance. The lines are round, no sharp edges. Your eyes naturally follow the curve of the roof, nothing blocks your view. Many people, when walking into a house like this, tend to say something familiar. It feels easy to breathe here. And even though that sounds emotional, the feeling actually reflects the true atmosphere the space brings. Honestly, I have met many families living under curved roofs who tend to live more slowly than average. No rushing, no urgency. Once they are home, their bodies automatically slow down. Their minds settle. Sleep comes more easily. Even the little things at home are less likely to turn into major stress. The feeling of being embraced is very clear, especially for those who have spent years living under pressure. What surprises me is that when the sense of safety is consistently present, money-related behavior also becomes gentler. Spending follows a calm rhythm. Decisions are rarely made in a rush. When people in these homes need to make financial choices, they tend to give themselves time. Everything unfolds slowly, without the pressure to act immediately. The impact of curved roofs often shows up in long-term stability. Cash flow rarely swings wildly. Growth moves at a steady pace. People living in this space often maintain patience, know when to pause, and understand when to wait. Major decisions are made after emotions have settled, so they rarely need to be fixed later. In family life, this kind of roof tends to create a warm, gathered feeling. People are more likely to sit together for longer. Conversations are slow, few interruptions. When disagreements come up, voices naturally soften. This emotional tone is shaped by the shared space, and it influences how people interact with one another every day. Fifth, overlapping or cluttered roofs. Homes with overlapping roofs often come from spaces that have been expanded multiple times. Add a room here, extend the back, raise one corner, lower another. Each renovation has its own reason, but when you step back and look at the whole roof, it starts to feel messy in its lines, messy in its direction, and that scattered feeling slowly trickles down into daily life. What I often notice in these homes is a sense of distraction. You walk in and your mind struggles to focus. Everywhere you look, something needs attention. This part is not finished. That part needs fixing. People living there rarely feel a clear center. Life feels patched together, managed day by day until it becomes normal, even if it is never named. Honestly, many people living under overlapping roofs are very resourceful. They are flexible, quick to respond, and can handle many tasks at once. But because they have to juggle so much, their energy becomes scattered. One task ends, another begins. Their minds rarely get a full rest. Financially, the effect often shows up as difficulty accumulating money. Income comes from many small sources. Expenses are split into countless little categories. Each one makes sense. Each one feels necessary. But in the end, the feeling of abundance is hard to find. Over time, people fall into a cycle of always being busy, but still feeling short. In financial decisions, this type of space makes it hard to see the big picture. Focus is split among too many small tasks. Long-term plans are often disrupted by short-term needs. Priorities shift, constantly driven more by immediate emotions than a clear direction. In family life, overlapping roofs often make everyone feel like they live in separate corners. Shared space exists, but it rarely becomes a real gathering spot. Everyone is busy with their own things. Conversations feel rushed and shallow. Over time, this drains people without them knowing why. Overlapping roofs reflect a life stage full of change. When life moves fast, the space changes to keep up. In the short term, this helps people cope. But when it goes on too long, the chaos seeps in, making it harder for both the mind and money to find balance. Each roof style creates a different way of living. What really matters is recognizing your current state, not changing the roof itself. From here, let us explore practical ways to adjust, starting with small daily habits, so you can rebalance your life without major renovation. When people think of adjustment, they often imagine tearing things down, changing the roof, or redesigning the house. Just the thought sounds exhausting, but after years in this field, I have found that the biggest change comes from how we live in our space every day. The roof sets a base energy that spreads into daily life. When your lifestyle rhythm changes, the roof's effect softens too, and that starts with small actions done regularly. First, adjust your lighting. Homes with heavy-feeling roofs need brighter light during the day. Natural light wakes up the mind and helps your body stay in sync with time. When light is right, that heavy feeling fades even if the roof stays the same. Second, create clear pauses in your day. A place to rest, a spot for meals, a time to slow down. These breaks help the body shift gears. And when the body slows, the tension from the space eases too. Third, reduce overlap in your activities. Messy homes often come with messy routines, eating here, working there, resting elsewhere. When things blend too much, the mind cannot settle. Clear boundaries between activities help reduce the scattered feeling. Fourth, adjust your spending rhythm. If you tend to spend money when tired or stressed, pause for a moment. No need for deep thinking. Just ask, do I really need this, or am I trying to release stress? That one question can pull you back into clarity. One thing I often remind families is to observe their own reactions inside the house. Watch how you feel when you first walk in. Pay attention when you are sitting still. Notice how you respond when making decisions. You do not need to change anything right away. Just become aware. Once you can see clearly, many things will begin to shift naturally. Feng Shui, when you strip away the superstition, is really just a way to help people live more consciously with their environment. The roof is still there. Its shape remains the same. But when the internal rhythm of life changes, its long-term impact also begins to change. The right kind of adjustment will not turn your life upside down. It simply brings things back to a more breathable state where you can think more clearly and handle money, work, and relationships with greater balance over time. Looking back at everything we have discussed, one thing stands out very clearly. A roof does not create wealth, and it does not take away anyone's luck. What the roof really influences over the long run is your state of living. And that state of living is what shapes the way you think, choose, and manage money over the years. Many people tend to call these effects luck. But if you observe closely, you will see that luck does not fall from the sky. It is built up slowly from the things you repeat every single day. The way you come home, the way you rest, the way you make decisions when you are tired. Your living space simply lays the foundation that either supports or hinders those things. I am not hoping that after watching this video, you will start worrying about the shape of your roof. Worrying does not change anything. What helps more is understanding. Understanding which state you are living in. Understanding why there are certain periods in life when you feel more tense, more scattered, or more likely to spend out of rhythm than usual. Once you understand that, you will see that you still have a great deal of control. You do not need to rush into renovating your home. You do not need to take any extreme steps. Just start by slowing down a little, right inside the space you already have. Pay closer attention to your own reactions. Adjust your lifestyle rhythm to match your current emotional state. From this point of view, Feng Shui is not something to blindly believe in. It is a reminder to reconnect with the relationship between yourself and the place you live in. When that relationship becomes more harmonious, your mind becomes less tense. When the mind is more at ease, your decisions become clearer. And when your decisions are clearer, your money will naturally have a better place to stay. If this video helps you look at your home with a calmer perspective to slow down your pace even just a little, then that is already enough. The rest, you are fully capable of adjusting in the way that best fits your own life.